Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, this is Austin here, bringing you all a StarCraft 2 1v1 commentary between Liquid TLO, the enigmatic blue Zerg player spawning at the top right corner of Daybreak, up against ROG Elfi, the red Protoss at the bottom left. This particular match is from the semi-finals of the Good Invitational, or GD Invitational if you want to abbreviate it that way. That's how it was written, but pronounced the Good Invitational, sponsored by ASUS ROG, Republic of Gamers. This was held a week ago at the same time as the WCS Asia Finals. I found myself mostly watching this event, so I do know who won and the outcome, but I can tell you that Gosu Gamers was right in declaring this replay recommended, as it was quite an exciting match overall. I don't remember this particular game and all of the specifics of it, but I know that TLO versus Elfi, which was a best of 5, was a particularly nice semi-final to watch. In the group stages of this tournament, TLO was able to 2-0 Elfi using rather unconventional tactics. TLO emerged first in his group. This was an entirely European tournament, no Korean players and no North American players to my knowledge. I know for a fact there were no Koreans. There might have possibly been one North American. But TLO did come out of the group stage with a record of 6-1 in game score and 3-0 in match score, using, like I mentioned before, very unconventional tactics. Picture the White Raw of Zerg, throwing his opponents off, yet still boasting a solid enough macro ability to keep up with them in head-to-head late-game play. We do see Elfi opting for a rather standard Forge Fast Expand, and you may be wondering what's up with his tag, ROG Elfi, and this tournament was sponsored by ASUS ROG. He was formerly a member of Team Acer, and he left said team a few months ago, opting instead for sole sponsorship, which some players in the StarCraft 2 professional scene do prefer, notably White Raw, Grubby, Violet, among others. Those are the 3 biggest names I could think of off the top of my head. So Elfi did decide to opt for sole sponsorship. He is sponsored by a number of different organizations, of course ROG being the most notable one. There are a couple Swedish websites in there as well, to my knowledge, as Elfi is a Finnish player. I meant to say Finnish websites. I mix up my Nordic nation names, and that was beautiful alliteration. TLO is getting a ghost third base, or he was, and then he decided to build his natural hatchery. I'm not sure why he decided to go for his hatches in that order. I remember seeing Snoot do this against Baby Knight not too long ago. He would go for the third base first and then the natural. Honestly, you guys, if one of you could explain it to me in simple terms, I follow StarCraft 2 competitive strategy quite intensely, but I still cannot determine why these Zerg players tend to get the third first, possibly to avoid getting their natural delayed by opposing probes and pylons, because I do know that is quite a nuisance to some Zerg players to have their timings thrown off even in the slightest. So that is the most logical explanation I could think of. And TLO has not done too much out of the ordinary besides this third before natural kind of timing, and Elfi's seen all of it. We'll have to see what kind of a crazy build / composition TLO decides to go for. I know he was using Nidus Worms very heavily in the group stages as well, which I find overall in competitive play is a very, very underused structure. The Nidus Network and subsequent Nidus Worms, they have dangerous potential, yet Zerg players tend to neglect them overall and opt instead for Infestor Broodlord. If any of you guys watched the GSL finals this morning at 12 AM, you'll probably be seeing this tomorrow. You'll probably be seeing this on Sunday, or after Sunday, but it will have been released on Sunday. So, anyways, if you don't want me to ruin it for you, then check out Team Liquid or Liquipedia for the results, or if you're a GSL subscriber, then watch the VODs. But anybody who does not want to hear the results, pause, skip the next 10 seconds. StarTale Life was able to win 4-3 in an epic match. Just wanted to throw that out there because he's the first Royal Roader in the history of StarCraft 2 competitive play, which means in his first GSL, he won his first GSL Code S. He was able to win. This term applied mostly to the OSL in Brood War, but has now carried over to both the GSL and OSL for StarCraft 2. And I neglected to say it, even though I had seen it for quite a while I was talking about life for so very long. Elfi did decide to build a Stargate, to which TLO has not really reacted. He's building no spore crawlers, getting an evolution chamber though, so that will enable him to build some anti-air defenses. Well scouted there by TLO, but Elfi immediately heading for robotics tech. A safe transition out of Stargate. TLO has seen that as well. TLO sees all, as he knows exactly what his opponent's up to. The question is, does Elfi know everything that TLO is up to? Sadly, TLO is not up to too much special. That was not well worded. I am exhausted, so my linguistical capabilities are slightly deterred at the moment. TLO is not up to anything special. Let's put it that way. Let's be basic for one commentary. He's getting his macro hatch outside of his natural. Some players like to do that. I would imagine to force a narrower choke when their opponent is trying to push into their natural and or main base. So if there's a crazy base trade situation, the units are funneled in. Or maybe I'm just overcomplicated things. TLO is getting a Roach Warren quite late, but again, Snoot did mirror this quite scarily in his games against Baby Knight not too long ago on my channel, as he macroed up, droned up. TLO has gotten up to 66 workers, and then decided to pump out a mass Roach count. It seems as though TLO is getting a lair. My question is the lair exclusively for Roach speed, or will it be for an immediate transition to Hive Tech? That we will have to see. There's also the possibility he will be going for Infestors, but it seems as though Elfi is bullying TLO's poor overlords. They've done Elfi no wrong, truly, and yet they are receiving the brunt of the Phoenix's ion cannon attacks. That was a terrible fail. I openly checked it in front of your eyes. Yet, I never actually knew that the Phoenix's attack was named an ion cannon. I don't know if you guys noticed this little ticker here, but it said something about Brokeback Viking Station. That was quite hilarious. Parody of Brokeback Mountain, which, if you don't know, was a movie about a pair of homosexual cowboys, I believe, and was highly successful in theaters. What did TLO just cancel? Was that a Nidus Network, or might just see? I know he canceled something, but I might possibly have been seeing things. He was building a spire, and I'm not sure if he has one anywhere on the map. I cannot find it. So he's now getting a Nidus Network in his main, so he likely did not cancel it, and was building a spire. And I do not think it finished anywhere. I can't see it. So it seems as though TLO will be going for Nidus Network. Now Elfi is pushing out with a very high sentry and immortal count. Why was I not checking his base? I was so focused on telling you about Brokeback Viking Station, surely to be a hit in StarCraft universe theaters. Elfi is going for a very heavy central immortal push, yet TLO is coming in for a counterattack. Our Protoss player is walling this off. But will he be able to hold? He should be warping in sentries and just force fielding back these roaches, allowing the photon cannons to slowly but surely wear them down while they are trapped behind force fields. Now here is that macro hatch positioning coming into play. Elfi is slowly pushing into his opponent's natural location. The question is, who's going to have the bigger direct army? It seems as though Elfi's is 8 supply bigger, but TLO is building a ton of spines in his main, and half of them, the majority of them, have been allowed to finish, which means Elfi in a base trade situation will be at a large disadvantage. All the while, TLO has gotten a Nidus Worm at quelque part on the map, which means at some point, it's French for that, right in his opponent's main. He is not holding back at all, just openly opting for the base trade. All of these spine crawlers here dealing so much damage to Elfi's poor Protoss forces. I pity these immortals putting in work and getting nothing in return. The drones have been pulled. Elfi even using his phoenixes, but there are spore crawlers in this line of spines going to make short work of them. Their ion cannon's not going to be used today, and Elfi is forced back Very nice hold there from TLO. Elfi should have gone straight for the main. You always have to go for... I forget, there's a name of some artery or something, or I forget what the term is. You always have to go for the... Oh, that was... I'm just itching to say what it is, but I do not remember. You'll have to post in the comments if you can think of what I'm trying to refer to. I'm a little bit off today in terms of my references, but anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this match. Elfi, sadly, was not able to defeat his opponent, but I can tell you that he triumphed 3-1 in the best of 5 series, advanced to the finals where he lost to Thorzane 3-2 in a rather epic showdown. Catch you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed this cast.